Welcome to It's Happening. My name is Jared, and today is the day, election day. I know I'm a political nerd. I love this stuff. Hold on one second, guys. I'm gonna try and make sure my sound and everything's working, and then we'll go on. I will be on and off all throughout today, pulling up the results and just kind of talking about what's going on. I will be pulling up other creators as well, podcasters as well, to give their perspective and just kind of talk about it. If anybody is interested in coming on with me today and giving their perspective on what's going on, let me know and I will send you a link and you can hop on with me. All you really need is headphones with a mic or a good it works better with a mic and headphones if you have it. If not, we can still make it work with the link. The sound will be off a little bit. But what I'm going to do right now is I'm going to pull up Megan Kelly from last night and let her play. It's going to be about 20 minutes that I'm going to play of her. She um, puts it in a way much better than I ever could, and in a way that I think more women will actually listen to what's being said, because a lot of people on the left and people in the middle who are voting solely on the issue of abortion. Oh, hey, Vandy Street, thank you for commenting. Is the sound is good though? Okay, good. Thank you. Thank you for letting me know. Let us know what state you're watching from, guys. If you voted, if you're going to vote, you can put a red heart, blue heart. It doesn't matter. No arguing or fighting about it. I'm just curious on who you may have voted for. Anyways, I'm going to play this Megan Kelly thing and stop and just kind of talk about it. I really enjoyed her statement on this. But the issue that a lot of the women are voting for right now, they don't even realize they're being lied to about it. The biggest issue that Kamala is running on is abortion. And what she's not telling you is that everything she's telling you is a lie. She can't do any of it. It's already been kicked back to the states, and that's where both sides should want it. You do understand that, right? If the Democrats get their way, if they get their way on this issue and they get rid of the filibuster like they want to, do you not understand that every single time we have Republicans in power of the Senate or Democrats in power of the Senate, that this will go back and forth every time? And you allowing the federal government to do this is going to allow them to do the very thing you claim you're fighting against. When the states have the power, you and the people around you locally have more power and control of what goes on in your daily life. These people are flat out lying to you. The Supreme Court has already kicked it back. She can't just come in and do the things she's claiming she's going to do. So if that's your number one issue, don't just take my word for it. Listen to Megan talk about this, coming from a woman who obviously has leaned left for most of her life, who has now finally started to be awakened to the things that are going on. But let her tell it for you. I will stop and pause. And again, I will be on and off all day today, guys. I took off today to sit here and do this. Make sure you follow us on X. My wife and I have some slots open to make some tumblers. She moved some other ones around. I need to put some of our other designs up there. Ashley, do you have any more of your tumblers around I can put up? Anyways, if you're needing a personalized tumblers, let me know. Reach out to me and we'll work on one for you. We also do some logos as well, guys. All right, let's do that. Let me put this up real quick. And let's hop over here. Again, this is Megan Kelly on YouTube. Okay. We're going to make some new designs for tumblers and stuff as well to show y'all what all we can do. But we can create it all from scratch for you, or maybe you have an idea where you kind of want us to start, and we'll go back and forth with you on the image until we get it exactly how you want it, guys. All right, let's do this. Again, this is a little long, but like I said, I'm going to be on and off all throughout today. So make sure you follow us here. And make sure you go follow the Megan Kelly channel.
Listen to this show. I have a lot of Republicans too, and I have some Democrats as well, because I hear from you. Hear from you all the time in the mail. We see it in the numbers. And I'm begging those of you who are still thinking about voting for Kamala Harris to reconsider. I'm going to start with why you should not vote for her. What is Kamala Harris going to do as president? We have no idea, because she hasn't told us. She's used a lot of empty rhetoric to hide who she really is, which is the most radical leftist senator in the US Senate prior to ascending to the vice presidency. She has disavowed few, if any, of her almost Marxist or actual Marxist positions. A few years ago, when she was running for president in 2019, she said she wanted to ban fracking. Now she says she won't. A few years ago, she wanted to take away your private health insurance and put us all on the government dole. Now she says she doesn't. A few years ago, she said she wanted to ban gas-powered cars. Now she says she doesn't, though she and her boss have got that in the works already for the mid-2030s. Positions she is still on record to this moment as holding, like currently, include taxpayer-funded sex change operations for illegal immigrants and prisoners, a ban on some portion of our red meat offerings, a ban on offshore drilling. Potentially, she's tried to walk that back, though without explanation. She wants those in the fossil fuel industry to transition out to something else. She wants to eliminate the filibuster to pass the radical Green New Deal. She wants to eliminate the filibuster to pass an abortion rights bill. Eliminating the filibuster changes the US Senate forevermore. Let me just say something, okay, about the abortion. Okay, we talked about it on Friday, but I need you to understand this. To my pro-choice friends who think she's going to pass a national abortion rights bill, which she is not. She cannot. She is not. I explained it on Friday, but she's not. She can't. Let me explain to you the only way that she could possibly do that. The only possible way. The Democrats are about to lose control of the Senate in all likelihood. But let's just say they hold on by, a senator or two to the majority. The only way they can get rid of the filibuster is to vote, we're getting rid of the filibuster, and then to change the standard for a vote in the Senate to just 51 votes, right?
Do y'all realize how dangerous that would be? Just really think about that for a minute. If the Democrats get what they want and they get rid of the filibuster, do y'all not understand that will come back to slap you in the face as well? It will come back to haunt you. There will become a day when Republicans have power of the House, the Senate, and the presidency. And they will smack you right back in the face with everything you're claiming to fight against. You guys are actually opening the door for those things to actually happen to you. Abortion should stay with the states. Both sides win that way. Republicans have to compromise on it, and Democrats have to compromise on it. The people in your area will vote to keep it or get rid of it. You will still be able to travel to another area to get these things done. The media has lied to you about this Trump abortion ban, and they're lying to you about how Kamala is going to come in and flip it back on its face and fix it. The Supreme Court has already put it back to the states, and that's where it should be. We are teaching our kids wrong. We do not want the federal government to have that kind of power, because you keep talking about my body, my choice, but you're willingly giving your body and your choice over to the tyrants.
Right now, you can't get a vote on any legislation unless you have 60. And neither side ever has 60. And that ensures minority rights in the Senate, which may be annoying when you're in the majority, but you love when your party's in the minority. If they change it to just a 51 vote threshold, even if they limit it to just on abortion rights, as she's saying, what do you think that does? Let's assume that they have the congressional power to actually pass an abortion rights bill, which they don't. See my Friday show. They don't. They don't have the constitutional ability to do that in Congress and the presidency, and it will be struck down by the U.S. Supreme Court as an excess. This is not a federal matter. It's a states' rights matter. If you care about abortion, vote for a pro-choice governor and pro-choice state legislators. This is not a federal thing. It should not affect your presidential vote. But in any event, let's say she wins. She pushes through an abortion rights bill in the U.S. Congress, including the U.S. Senate, by just 51 votes. Let's say somehow they withstand a legal challenge to that bill. And the Supreme Court says, you know what? You do have the power to do it. Great. You've got your bill. And the Roe regime is now established in all 50 states. Okay, great. The Democrats are thrilled. The Republicans are miserable. They can't believe this has happened. We're back to the Roe regime. All the states that have harsher limits now, 6-week bans, done. We're at the Roe regime where it's determined by viability around 24 weeks. Before that, you can't ban it. And whatever limitations were in place around Roe could stand potentially during the Roe years. What do you think they've just opened the door for? To my pro-choice friends, what do you think they have just opened the door for? That behavior is an acknowledgement that abortion can be regulated at the federal level and that nationwide policy can be set by the party in control with just a 51-vote majority in the Senate.
So you see how the Democrats' lies and manipulation on this and how they use the media to help them do it? It's wild. It's truly remarkable what they're doing. And they don't care anymore. They openly just do it right in our faces. They lie right to your face. They say one thing on video, turn around, say the complete opposite, and act like they never said it. It's truly remarkable what we're witnessing. We are watching the legacy media fall apart and hopefully never come back because we can't trust them. We cannot trust our own media. If our own media would for one day tell the truth, the Democrats wouldn't have anywhere close to the power they have right now. And neither would the Republicans. But don't get me wrong. The Democrats are the ones who are putting it all right in our face. But Megan nails it. They're just flat out lying to you. They cannot do what they claim they're going to do. And even if they get their way, it will create the situation that you claim you're voting against. So this is why it's so important to inform yourself on the issues that you're voting on and don't just vote solely based on one issue. Think of others, not just yourself, not just some of these dads out there claiming to be voting for their daughter's possible right to choose, but not voting for the safety of their own daughters is insanity to me. You saying I'm voting to protect my daughter's possibility of having an abortion is telling every man out there that you can treat my daughter however you want with no consequences and we'll just take care of it. We cannot keep going in this direction without it getting extremely worse, and they're lying to you.
Really think there will be no time in the future in which we have a Republican pro-life president and a Republican majority in the Senate and a Republican majority in the House that might be inclined to pass a nationwide ban. Do you really think that's such an impossibility that you want to get rid of minority rights in the Senate, which means getting rid of the filibuster? You want to take that gamble? Right now, the majority of states still allow abortion, still follow the Roe regime. A handful of small, deep red states have gone much more restrictive on it. And the women in those states will have to make a choice about leaving, if this is a big issue for them, getting abortion drugs mailed to them, or just traveling to another state if they want an abortion. But the vast majority of women in America will have absolutely no trouble procuring an abortion now. But if the Democrats, including Kamala Harris, get rid of the filibuster in the Senate and say they can take a vote on abortion with just 51 votes and manage to pass a national abortion regime, they have opened the door. They have greenlit the ability of the Republicans to come back when they're in power and do exactly the opposite if they take power. The better and correct legally analysis is that the U.S. Congress does not have the power to regulate abortion on a national basis.
You don't want them to.
Post-Dobbs, it is a state-by-state matter, and that's exactly as it should be.
It gives the power.
That's exactly where both sides should want it to remain.
There's a
So her
reason
saying
we
she
are
wants to
called the
eliminate
United States of America. We need our state's sovereignty. We need our individual liberty to continue being the country that we are today, and that you and I had the privilege of growing up in. We've been so privileged in this country, we don't even realize it anymore. We've been so pampered here, we don't realize what it's like to the rest of the world outside of us. But we're going to find out real fast if we continue to allow these communists to take power in our country. Let's let her continue.
the filibuster to pass an abortion rights bill is extremely dangerous for both sides. Pay attention. I urge you, women who are about to vote on this issue, no one is telling you that. I practiced law for a decade. Trust me on the abortion issue. I have researched this. No good will come to you in getting rid of the filibuster and strong arming through an abortion rights federal law. Moving on. She apparently no longer wants to decriminalize illegal border crossings, but I'm not sure because she really won't say much about it. She certainly hasn't committed to any deportations of the between 10 and 20 million illegals who came in on her watch. She never talks about deportations. She only talks about pathway to citizenship. She wants to cut back on cops. She's made that clear. She said she wanted a mandatory buyback program for guns in America, which would also likely be unconstitutional. You can't say retroactively that something is unlawful. That was lawful just a minute ago. Can't I have my gun and on Monday it's legal and on Tuesday it's illegal and Kamala Harris shows up to collect it. Now, under pressure as she ran in this campaign, she claims she owns a gun. Yeah, John Wayne's back. And she doesn't want a mandatory buyback program, right? Because it's illegal. Sure. But she does back an assault weapons ban, which would make even certain kinds of semi-automatic handguns illegal. Great. Good luck with that. We have between 300 and 400 million of them in the United States. I look forward to your ban. Exactly how do you plan on implementing that?
And think about this for a minute. The left always loves to try and point to Donald Trump talking about deporting all the people, right? And they're like, oh my God, what would that look like? How would we possibly do that when there are actual ways to do it where it's not that big of a deal, where we actually use the local police departments to do their job, you know? I mean, it's not as big of a deal as they're making it out to be. But in the same breath, they'll turn around and think it's okay for the government to have the power to come into your home and take away the way for you to protect you and your family. But they can do that with hundreds of millions of people, but they can't grasp how they could remove 10 million people. But in their minds, they can remove 300 million guns. This is the logic we're dealing with. And I truly believe they have been dumbing us down over time. I don't believe our population is smarter today than it was in the past. I truly don't believe that anymore. The older I'm getting and the more I'm learning, we are actually dumber today than we were before. They are actively teaching boys and girls that they can pretend and it will actually happen to become the other sex. Yes, our country, our society is promoting that. That alone makes it sound like we live in some Simpsons episode where everything is upside down, right? We've all seen those cartoons that they make, you know, where they make it where life is completely the opposite of what it would be normally in reality. And we are living that. It's crazy. It really is. All right, let me let her go on. I will ramble, guys. Thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to smash that like button. Follow us here on Rumble and on YouTube. Make sure you follow our X. We are trying to grow there since Facebook and all the other ones block us and have helped destroy a couple online businesses that my wife and I were doing. But we are never going to give up. So make sure you go follow us over on X. And that is in the description, guys. Just look below.
She wants public funding of healthcare for illegals. I don't want to pay for the dental work of the illegals who are killing our children. Maybe it's just me. I don't want the lure to the other illegals who are thinking about coming here once she reopens our borders, which she absolutely will. Now they find out that they can get these government checks to get housing, they can get government checks to get food, and they can get government checks to get benefits.
They are actively being better taken care of than American soldiers who fought for this country, who have PTSD for this country, who lost a limb for this country and are homeless for whatever reason. And I'm not even talking about the regular American citizens who on a daily basis get no help whatsoever, but somehow, some way, our government finds a way to make sure these illegals' bills are paid. They're put up in houses. They're put up in apartments. I showed you guys a video where they're getting their rent paid for up to 2 years. Imagine what you and I could do with that. Imagine if they said, okay, guys, you don't have no rent, no bills to pay. Here's some food stamps to take care of your food. Now, we would take that and build on top of that and create more money and create more jobs for other people. They don't want us to actually do that. And it's obvious because they're giving it to the people who won't do those things, who have no love for this country, who will continue to vote for them in the future if the Democrats get their way. It's not a conspiracy theory. It's happening right in front of our face.
To get healthcare benefits. Most Americans can barely pay for their own healthcare. Never mind the healthcare of the people pushing the fentanyl down our college kids' throats. Culturally, she says she wants us to be as woke as possible. Here she is.
You know, we have to stay woke. Like, everybody needs to be woke.
What does that mean?
And you can talk about if you're the wokest or woker, but just stay more woke than less woke. Yeah.
She's an idiot,
Just
but she's a dangerous
more woke,
idiot.
y'all. Stay more woke.
She invited men in dresses with beards to the White House. Remember this?
This is the reality the Democrats want you to live in.
And they come, 6'4" man in a dress, behaving like a schoolgirl with his beard and his mustache.
It's just child abuse.
In our White House.
For that man, I get it. There was no child with him right there. Why are we ignoring the obvious with this? Why is it when it comes to this trans issue, everyone seems to back up and they're too afraid to speak the truth? I can't think of a time throughout, was that you, Ashley? Okay, a time throughout history where a group that claims to be oppressed has that much power. Can you? It's everywhere. It's shoved in our faces by so-called the most oppressed group among us. You guys don't understand what oppression is. You can't be oppressed but be the group who gets benefited the most from every other group inside of our country. You can't continue to claim you're being oppressed when you get loans based off of your identities, when you get to go beat up little girls in sports and claim it's because of your gender identity, when you get to walk into the women's restroom or the little girl's room because your delusion is telling you that you should. No. How in the hell did we get to the point where there is a big portion of our society that is accepting this? Not only accepting it, but pushing it on us and calling you the bigot if you dare say, hold on a minute, I actually want to protect my daughter. I'm voting to actually protect my daughter from people like you. The real threat to a democracy, which you clowns don't seem to even comprehend what a democracy is. It's remarkable. It truly is. Truly remarkable.
She allowed men with fake breasts, posing as women, to expose those breasts on the White House lawn. Look at this disgrace. She thought this was inclusive. She wants to be inclusive of these sick people at the people's house. She thinks Rachel Levine is a woman and has no problem with him pushing gender transitions on minors, even when he's been told, as it came out within the past 2 weeks, that the evidence suggests, even within the trans medical community, that they know these kids can't give informed consent. Kamala Harris raised money to bail out BLM rioters in Minnesota who hurt civilians and cops. She told Jacob Blake, who threatened cops with a knife, that she was proud of him. She is as woke as they come. And don't think for 1 second she has checked that at the White House door. She just hasn't been center stage for these 4 years. She's a big believer in equity, which means we all have a right to end up in the same place, irrespective.
I've been trying to point this out to you guys for a while now, this equity and equality, and I've been trying to go over with how they actually talk about it and what it is and what it will actually do. She's fixing a nail on it. Hopefully, I have been making it clear what their equity will do to this country. But if it's not understandable what they're doing, just read about Marxism, read about communism, read about socialism, read Karl Marx, read all of that, and you will come to see exactly what Kamala Harris is doing. She is going off of that playbook. Let's listen. But she nails this pretty good. I think they show a little clip of it.
Of how much hard work goes into it or merit goes into it. Listen.
So there's a big difference between equality and equity. Equality suggests, oh, everyone should get the same amount. The problem with that, not everybody's starting out from the same place. So if we're all getting the same amount, but you started out back there and I started out over here, we could get the same amount, but you're still gonna be that far back behind me. It's about giving people the resources and the support they need so that everyone...
See how everything is just dumbing our society down? The Democrats talk to you like you're a child that doesn't understand. Y'all remember Tim Walz's wife? Let's turn the page. They treat you like you're a second-class citizen who doesn't understand. They treat black people like they're too stupid to get an ID and be able to vote with that ID, but yet these same black people can buy cigarettes and alcohol. It is remarkable how racist the Democrat Party openly is, but yet they still point the finger at everyone else.
One can be on equal footing and then compete on equal footing. Equitable treatment means we all end up at the same place.
Is that right?
We all end up.
That means we all end up extremely poor. We all end up with nothing. There'll be a very few of us who will work harder than everyone else, and those people will be better taken care of. Those people's votes will end up mattering more because your votes won't really matter anymore to begin with, because we have an installed Democrat candidate right now who no one voted for. Do y'all really understand the direction that our country is heading in if we continue on this path? Do you?
The same place. Your neighbor has a right to your job, your home, and your things, even if he doesn't work as hard as you do, because of equity. Got it? That is Kamala Harris's America. I could have shown you 40 sound bites of her saying that. It was not a one-off. This is her core belief. It is Marxist, and she's not abandoned it. She does not believe in merit because she has not advanced on merit.
Not one bit.
She transferred into Howard University. It appears she didn't get in.
I have never seen anyone in my life fail upward more than Kamala Harris. That woman has failed at every single turn, and somehow we have rewarded her as a country. It is really wild to think the Democrats want to scream about Putin and China, but yet all of their tactics mirror exactly what those tyrants and dictators do. Go back to the Cultural Revolution in China and watch how they did it to their own citizens, and you'll realize that that's exactly what they're doing here. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you haven't yet, kindly smash that like button. It will help us get seen here more on Rumble. Comment below. Share it on social media. Make sure you follow us so you get notified when we go live.
That's my speculation. First try. She got into law school on a diversity crutch. She failed the bar exam first time out. She got into the San Francisco DA's office and then began an affair with the most powerful man in California politics, who was some 40 years her senior. Sure, it was love. He paved the way for her to become DA, the top job in the DA's office, and there began her real ascension into power. She became vice president because she is a Black woman. Joe Biden made that explicit. No one in the Biden White House believed in her. They tried to hide her for 4 years. She made a fool of herself for 4 years as VP, and even Barack Obama knew it. He was one of the last people to come on board, reportedly, on Kamala Harris replacing Biden on the ticket because he's smart enough to know she can't do it. She is a bully who lost more than 92% of her staff, more than 92% of her staff. They left in droves, alleging that she was abusive, lazy, would not do the work, and then would blame others. This is a report from Microsoft News that embodies some of those facts. Facing a 92% staff turnover, Vice President Kamala Harris reportedly has a reputation as an alleged
what
soul.
She's saying? Do y'all understand what Megan is saying right now? That 92% of Kamala Harris's staff that worked for her as vice president left because she was a bully. She was mean. She would make them act out scenarios so that when she had to go face these people, she was prepared and ready. She's nothing more than an actress. That's all this woman is. She's given a line and she goes out and repeats it. She has no original thought. She has no original policy. She has no original vision for this country. It is beyond dangerous thinking that this is the first woman president you want, because women, you won't get another one for a very long time if you allow this one in. And I know y'all can call me a sexist all you want, but the reality is this is not someone who my daughter can look up to and go, man, I'm sure glad America's finally got a woman president, and that's a woman I would like to be like, because Kamala Harris is dumber than a box of nails. You cannot be serious that you think that this woman is going to go fight against foreign policy against some of the toughest men in the world who don't respect women at all. You think American men are sexist? Wait till she goes and sits in front of the Iraqi leaders and Iran leaders and Putin and Saudi Arabia. Y'all think we treat women bad? Wait till the first woman president is tested, because she will be tested. And we know how weak people respond when they're tested. They overreact, right? I've done it myself in my life. I have been a weak individual, and I myself have made choices based off of the moment like that, and I know how bad it can go. Now imagine this woman having the most powerful position in the world and feeling like she got her emotions hurt or feelings hurt in front of the whole world. We've all seen that if she's asked a random question, she can't even answer it. What is she going to do when she's sitting across from the president of China, the dictator of China, the dictator of Russia? What is she going to do when they test her? It's just stuff to think about.
Destroying workplace bully. An analysis from Open the Books, a political tracking source, shows that only 4 of the 71 staffers hired by Harris during her first year in office remain in the job. The rest either quitting or being fired. Analysis shows Harris's Senate office, too, had the 9th highest staff turnover rate out of 114 senators who served between 2017 and 2020. Reporting indicates that she would berate those working under her in expletive-heavy rants. This is all before she ran for president.
Oh, before she ran.
At least
There you go.
this time around. This is before the coup. This is when she was running the first time, and they still wanted to report honestly on her because they recognized she was too radical. I have never seen an organization treat its staff so poorly. Kelly Mellenbacher, former state operations director on Kamala Harris's presidential campaign, said in a letter shared with the New York Times. More from the Daily Mail. In June of 2021, Politico, citing a Politico report, spoke to 22 individuals familiar with Harris's VP office, who all claimed that her team was experiencing, quote, low morale, porous lines of communication, and diminished trust among aides and senior officials. Quote, it's not a place where people feel supported, but a place where people feel that they are treated like shit, according to one source. A Biden administration official claimed Harris was responsible. Quote, it all starts at the top. This is Politico. That sentiment was shared by Gil Duran, an ex-aide to Harris who worked in her AG's office and quit after 5 months. Quote, what is the common denominator through all of this, he said. It's her. Multiple staffers who worked for Harris before she was vice president told the Washington Post in December 2021 how she had reportedly refused to prepare for public appearances, and then she would blame her aides when she underperformed. Quote, it's clear with Harris that you're not working with someone who is willing to do the prep and the work, said one ex-aide. With Kamala, you have to put up with a constant amount of soul-destroying criticism and also her own lack of confidence. So you are constantly sort of propping up a bully, and it's not really clear why.
We've all had to deal with a weak leader in some situation, right? Whether it be at work, whether it be at school, whether it be at whatever it is. And when you have a weak person who gets backed into a corner, what do? This isn't about sex or not sex. She flat out is a weak person who has proven time and time again that she can't answer the simplest of questions without someone telling her how to answer that question. Y'all realize how dangerous this is. We are putting the lives of our children and our grandchildren in the hands of that woman. And don't make it about being a woman, because I would in a heartbeat run to vote for Tulsi Gabbard. And that was a Democrat woman who has finally woken up and has come to our side. So don't tell me that I'm the sexist, because I would in a heartbeat vote for her. I would vote for Megyn Kelly here. I would vote for Candace Owens. There are plenty of women who are strong women who would make good leaders. It has nothing to do with you being a woman. It has everything to do with it being Kamala Harris.
In the summer of 2021, reported by CNN, Harris was said to have been prepped extensively by her team on how she could respond to questions about why she had not yet visited the southern border despite her role as White House border czar. When the time came to deliver her answer, Harris blew it in that now infamous interview with NBC's Lester Holt. You remember, I've been to the border. You haven't been to the border. And I haven't been to Europe. Weird laugh. That's Kamala Harris. When do you hear about that now? You hear about how Trump's a douchebag, right? He's a complete ass. You hear that all the time. He's Hitler, he's fascist, all that, all of it. Because of his rhetoric, nasty rhetoric. He says mean things about people. Newsom, new scum. Whoa, it's all the horror. What happened to all the reporting about what a bully jerk she is to the people who are trying to make her look good? What a lazy, know-nothing, do-nothing candidate. This woman has run for president on nothing other than
absolutely
empty words. You've heard them here a million times. I know you don't need the reminder, but here it is.
Having the right to have aspirations and dreams and ambitions. If you have the dreams and the ambitions and the aspirations of what I believe to do, what I know to be the spirit and character of the American people. We have ambition. We have aspirations. We have.
What is she going to sit down across from Xi and Putin and go, but the Americans have dreams. We have ambitions. And we dream those dreams with ambition, because today is today and yesterday will be tomorrow today because of tomorrow being today. Can you imagine what they'll do when she can't respond to a simple question?
Dreams. I believe in the ambition, the aspirations, the dreams of the American people.
Ambition is a good thing.
It is.
Dream with ambition,
Yes.
and we will applaud it. Ambitions and aspirations and dreams. But not everyone necessarily has access to the resources that can help them fuel those dreams and ambitions.
Name one thing. Name
Wow.
one thing.
These are meaningless, sweet nothings.
It is.
She is trying to fool you into believing she's a, quote, generic Democrat, because a generic Democrat is shown in these polls as beating Trump. But she is not. She is a San Francisco liberal who will pull this country even further to the left than it's already been pulled. She will triple down on race essentialism, the trans madness, unnecessary surgeries and scandalous sterilization of minors, exclusion of parents from their kids' schools, where they are having soft porn pushed on them in the libraries and in the classrooms, not to mention the subjugation of boys and men. She will reopen the southern border.
Yes, she
It
will.
only closed 3 months prior. It's not closed, but got more closed 3 months prior to the election so that Joe Biden could win this election. He didn't realize he'd be out of the race. Why would they go 3.5 years without doing anything? Why would they take office and pass dozens of executive orders, sign dozens of executive orders opening the border, and then let it sit there for 3.5 years as 10 to 20 million illegals cross the southern border if they actually cared about the border? They only put that stopgap in there so that they could win the election, and then they will.
Hey guys, the border bill that the Democrats keep bringing up, for those that don't understand, that border bill was essentially an asylum bill. It was essentially giving more and more people an easier way to become a citizen, to cross our border illegally and be rewarded for it. It was essentially turning our border agents into asylum agents. It was having them process people in faster. And that's why it was rejected. That's the reason it was rejected. Not racism, not some perceived ism that the Democrats made up. It's because the policy would have effectively made us have no border and would have legalized illegal immigration. And so we wouldn't have illegal immigration, right? Because she could say, hey, I ended it. Yeah, with the swipe of your pen, you opened our border and handed our country over to people who have no skin in the game. You're handing our money over and helping them come to this country, and you're not helping protect the people of your country. The number one job of a federal government is to do what? Why do we even have the federal government? If they're going to open the borders, if they're going to fund sedition against our country, what are they other than terrorists? They are not our government anymore when they are actively working to harm the citizen of their own country. And we're paying for it. It's not a conspiracy theory. We're just talking about facts and what's going on here. Let's listen a little bit more. I told you this one was going to be longer with her today, but she nails it, and I think she can put it in a way that I can't, and hopefully we'll reach some women that I can't. I'm going to try and get my wife to start coming on with me more, maybe once or twice a week. I'm hoping that she'll eventually be my co-host on here, and we will be doing some different shows, and that way you guys will have a man's perspective and a woman's perspective, and we don't always agree on everything, and that's a good thing. But we find ways to compromise and come to agreement. So she will hopefully be on with me later this evening talking as the results come in. I'll tell you what, before we get back on Megyn Kelly, let me pull up the results real quick and see what it looks like. Well, I'll tell you what, while you're watching for a minute, I'll find the results and I'll pull them up in a second.
Resume their old plan. Why would they do anything else? They tell us they think the open border is, quote, humane. Humane. She will let the Trump tax cuts expire. They're about to, and she will not renew them. Your taxes will go up. Oh, she says it's just the rich. Just you wait. As corporate America sees its taxes skyrocket, you will lose jobs. The inflation pain she and Joe Biden caused will be coupled with the loss of your job and your benefits. And God help you if, when you hit the unemployment line, you're white or a man, or God forbid, both.
Ooh.
In Kamala Harris's America, you're not even at the...
And that's something that a lot of these media people don't talk about today. And it should be talked about more because, as a society, we are openly making it okay to treat white, straight males with as much racism as you want, and it's justified. Yeah, y'all realize this is exactly how you create the slave mentality, right? You get a group of people to look at another group of people as if they're less than human. Again, coming from the party who always claims they won't be going backward, but somehow all their policies go backward.
The back of the line, if you check those boxes, you're not in line at all. In fact, you're to blame for all of our problems. It is a modern day form of reparations that she is unleashing on American men without owning it. And by the way, her push for reparations is yet another policy position she refuses to say whether she stands by. This person is weak and she is stupid. She is not a smart person and far from a deep thinker. She will get eaten alive by Putin and Xi. No one will fear us. She cannot make decisions. The 3 a.m. phone call will leave her paralyzed with fear and indecision. She will fail in her negotiations with our adversaries because she cannot think on her feet. The presidency is not a job you can do for 4 years with training wheels. At some point, you have to make important calls in the moment. You have to think in the moment. You have to be clever. You must outsmart. She couldn't even outsmart the ladies of The View.
That's right, Megan.
She is a silly person. Her cackle and unfunny jokes have a deleterious effect on her image. And that image cannot be that of our president. People don't respect her as they must. Our president and our first female president, okay? The first woman to become the American president must be someone whose intelligence is unassailable, whose facility with the spoken word is something to admire, who can make a point sharply and with ease and with substance without breaking a sweat. We have had female leaders in the world just like this. Kamala Harris is not one of them.
Not even close.
Here's one you might remember.
We have to establish very clear limits on the role of government. And really, politicians, I think, should sometimes just be a little bit more modest about their abilities than they are. We can't run everything, and we shouldn't try. I believe certain things very strongly. I believe that we were going towards a way of life in which people were constantly looking to the state to solve their problems and to do things for them. When the state does everything for you, it'll soon take everything from you. You will then have no basis for personal freedom.
Y'all hear that?
Political freedom.
When the state does everything for you, it will soon take everything from you. When the state does everything for you, it will soon take everything from you. And we do not teach our kids that today, right? Well, I mean, I do. I absolutely do. I have talked with my daughter so much about this stuff. She is extremely smart, only 15 years old, and she's so much further ahead than a lot of adults that I talk with. And I haven't forced any of this on her. I love that it comes naturally to her. I love it. Anyways, there are strong women that we will vote for.
Nor economic freedom. I saw it going much too far, and I think it would have gone even further had I not won that 1979 election. Too far ever to pull it back.
That, of course, Margaret Thatcher, Prime Minister in the UK, and someone who, even if you hated her politics, you could not challenge her intelligence. They say Kamala Harris will break barriers, the first woman president, but her election will set women back decades because she is not a smart person. The first female president must be someone our little girls can actually look up to. It must be someone who neither side can question when it comes to her credentials and her ability to do the job. Otherwise, there won't be another one for years.
For 100 years, I bet.
Her incompetence will be chalked up to the fact that she is female. This is about to set us back, not push us forward. Someone should break this barrier, and that person should not and cannot be this person. On the other hand, there's Donald Trump. He's not without his flaws, and everyone knows that. But the reasons that this thing is even close between the two of them are twofold. Trump's personality, yes, and abortion. I already made clear the abortion thing. That's Friday's show and what I just discussed above. You get it. Do not vote for the presidency based on abortion politics. Let me put it to you this way. Let me sum it up for you this way. When Dobbs was decided in June of 2022, Biden and Harris were in office. They were in the White House. The Democrats controlled the Senate and the House. They had full control. If Dobbs could be effectively overruled by federal legislation, why didn't they do it? Don't you think they would have done it if they could have? They didn't do it. They knew at some level this would be struck down. They don't have those powers. They knew also that they didn't have the votes. They did not get rid of the filibuster. At that point, Joe Manchin was there. Kirsten Sinema was there, who did not appear too keen on getting rid of minority rights in the Senate. But it didn't happen. And it can't happen. It's not going to happen for all the reasons that I've outlined. Don't vote for president based on anything having to do with abortion. This is a states' rights issue now. But
Amen.
the president.
And again, that's exactly where we wanted both sides. If you truly are trying to compromise with the other side, do you realize that you win with it being with the states? Both sides actually win something. It's not one side crushing the other like it will be if they get their way with the filibuster. Right now, it is with you, the people, where it has the most power. Don't give it back to the federal government, who will eventually use it against you for the very things, for the very reasons you're voting against it, right? So many times we do things unintentionally. They lie to us so much and manipulate us. I'm not accusing you or blaming you or anyone else. I used to be just like most people, hated politics, didn't want to talk about it, assumed I was a Democrat because that's what everybody was around me on TV and everything going on. And then I started paying attention. Let's go check over here on vtnews.ai. That is PBD, Patrick Bet-David's website. I really like how they have set it up. Check this out. We'll go look at the results real quick from vtnews.ai. Check this site out. You still there? Ashley, go make sure it's still working. It kicked off for a minute. Can you guys hear me? Sorry about that, guys. I don't know what happened there. It kicked off. All right, good. We're good to go. All right, I'm going to go pull up the VT News, guys. This is Patrick Bet-David's website. I really like how they've done it so far. If you want a news site where you can get both sides, you got to go check this site out. See, it even shows you, like, under the stories, which side is talking about the story, which side is not talking about the story. They've done a really good job with this on how to show you both sides. Let's see here. Let's see election results. Let's check this out real quick. No. I'll tell you what. Here we go. Can you guys see that? All right. This is on VT News. Oh, thank you, Vandy Street. I see it. It's back up. Good. The live chat is back up, guys. You can comment. You can talk back and forth with me. Let us know what state you're watching from. And let's pull it up. Let's go ahead. Like I said, today, guys, I'm not going to be in a hurry. I will be on and off after this. And later, my wife will come on with me to give you a perspective from her side. All right. So as of right now, this is saying Harris is at 49% and Trump is at 48.6%. Let's see here. Split votes. Giuliani ordered to court. Georgia faces bomb threat. Here in a little bit, let's go ahead and look at different states. Let's look at Arizona. It's showing Trump 49.8. And look down here. It even shows you different ones. That's why I really like this website, guys. If y'all have it, check this website out. And you want to hear both sides of a story, see it from different perspectives, see who's talking about the specific story and who's not. You can learn a lot from things like that. This is a great site to follow, guys. All right, let's look right down here. It shows this is all from early November. This one goes back a little bit further. The New York Times one goes back a little bit further. This is all for Arizona. Let's look at Georgia. Georgia, it shows Trump up. Michigan, it shows Trump up. Nevada, it shows Trump up. North Carolina, it shows Trump up. And one down here, the New York Times Siena pollster shows Kamala up. Pennsylvania, Trump is up 0.6 in Pennsylvania. Too big to rig, guys. We have to win it so big that the Democrats are ashamed because the Republicans sent them home defeated in the Electoral College and the popular vote. We have to win so big. It is a rebuke to all the woke nonsense that they are trying to force down our throats. We have to show them that their way of life is not the way we want our country to go anymore. No, we do not want to continue to go on the path that will lead to death and destruction of our country. We want a path of prosperity for our country, for our kids. All right, let's look a little bit more. He's got an AI thing on here. You can actually pay and do a lot more on here. Later this evening, PBD and some others will be on. We'll go look at that as well. Let's look over here at, let's see what's going on. Let's go check YouTube and see what's going on. How are you guys doing today? Have you voted yet? All right, let's pull up some Tim Pool and see what he's talking about. Guys, today I'm going to be on probably all day. I don't even know if I'm going to end this stream. I might and then just create another one for later. I don't know yet. I may just keep it going and see how the day goes. All right, let's pull up. I'm going to pull up a clip from Tim Pool. And we'll get later. We really need the day to go on a little bit more before we start pulling up results. Really around 6 p.m. Central, something like that. I think we'll start getting some more accurate results. All right, let's hop over here. Let's go see what Tim's talking about.
So there's a new ad supporting Kamala Harris where a bunch of dudes walk into the polling location and there's a guy and he's like, "You guys ready to make America great again?" And the guy's got his arm around him and the other guy's like, "Yeah." These two guys go to the polling booth and then they look up at each other and they nod. And then the guy's daughter is like, "Daddy." And it's like, "You don't need to tell the boys who you're voting for." And then the guy looks around. He's like, yeah. And then
Oh,
he
here we
marks off
go.
Kamala Harris.
Here, I
And
got
I'm
a
like, dude,
video.
Never.
This one, check this out. We have a video of John Fetterman admitting what the Democrats are doing with the border. Check this out. He was on Joe Rogan. Where is it? Here we go. This is Tim Pool as well.
Here we go. John Fetterman, Democrat, admits Kamala's border bill would grant mass amnesty to illegal immigrants in the U.S. and not secure the border. This is from the Joe Rogan Experience. Why Joe is such an important personality and journalist. I know. I'm sorry, Joe. I called you a journalist. You know, in this day and age, people don't like the term journalist because journalism is associated with people who are lying intentionally to manipulate the public.
Propaganda.
But there is something real to doing journalism, and that is Joe Rogan sitting down with a politician, asking him a straightforward question, saying, these are the concerns about Kamala and the Democrats' border bill. You call it bipartisan. It would create a path towards citizenship, amnesty, for a large group of people that the Democratic Party has just bestowed with free money. Now, Joe doesn't say it exactly like that, but Fetterman, he's not as look. I'm not trying to rag on the guy. He's not particularly articulate following his stroke, but you can still understand his ideas. He tries to get around and ultimately concedes to Joe Rogan. Yes, if the Democrat border bill were to have been signed off on, and they say bipartisan, it would have created a massive path for non-citizens to enter this country by means that today are illegal, but this bill would legalize, give them EBT benefits, housing, etc., and a path to amnesty where they could then vote, permanently turning swing states into Democrat states. And Fetterman says yes. So I just want to say, because it bears repeating, shout out to Joe Rogan, who often says he's just some dumb guy. But everybody knows, anybody with a rational thought knows Joe pays attention. He's not a subject matter expert on everything, but he's not going to let things like this slide. I'm going to play a little bit of this and then jump to the end where you can finally see, because it's 4 minutes, and Fetterman finally caves says, yes, that's true, and bang. It's 4 minutes because Joe Rogan had to press him several times. Listen to this.
We need a secure border. It's a significant issue. And if I thought there was any kinds of issues, and I've been very vigilant throughout, I've been actively involved in those kinds of things, and I've never witnessed those kinds of a thing.
But what do you mean by issues? Like what kind of issues you're talking about? You're talking about people letting people in order to get votes?
Well, it's not. There's not that level kinds. I don't think there's that level kinds of organization.
But there is an organization that's moving these people to swing states. There's a significant number of these people that are illegal immigrants that have made their way to swing states. And then there's been calls for amnesty. There's been calls for allowing these people to have a pathway to citizenship and allow them to vote. The fear that a lot of people have is that this is a coordinated effort to take these people that you're allowing to come into the country, then you're providing them with all sorts of services like food stamps and housing and setting them up, and then providing a pathway to amnesty. And then you would have voters that would be significantly voting towards the Democrats because they're the people that enabled them to come into the country in the first place and provided them with those services. This is a big fear that people have, and that you're rigging this system and that this will turn all these states into essentially locked blue like California is.
Yep.
Well, it's what immigration is always going to be a tough issue in our nation. I had
doesn't have to
pitter patter. You see how he just doesn't want to come out and say it. Joe Rogan presses him. I'm going to jump forward a little bit.
What's in play? I think it's really it's important that we have to have an honest conversation.
But doesn't that seem logical, though? If you have a significant number of people that are being moved into swing states that have come across the border illegally, and then you've provided them with all these services, you provided them with food stamps, EBT, you've provided them with housing, you could, if you gave those people amnesty and allowed those people to vote, and it was very organized, you're talking about 75,000 votes over a few counties that switched everything over to the Republicans. You could see how you import 10 million people over the course of 4 years illegally, and then move a significant number of them to swing states, and then provide them with all these services, and then give them a path to citizenship, you could essentially rig those states.
Undeniably, immigration is changing
Undeniably.
our nation. I mean, I haven't spent a lot of
Undeniably.
time in Texas, but it's very clear that
Wow.
immigration has.
There you have it. Undeniably. From a Democrat's mouth, he is telling you flat out, undeniably, that's what we're doing. I mean, we've only known it forever. We've watched them do it. They're just not hiding it all anymore. The dictators don't seem to care if their face is shown for who they truly are anymore. I'm going to go pull up another clip from Rogan. Check that out. How you guys doing today? Have you voted today yet? Or did you vote early? Let me know over here in the live chat. Don't forget to like this video, comment below, share it on social media, help us get seen more. Let's hop over here to X. And I think I reshared it. If not, I'll go find it. Where is it? Where is it? I'll tell you what, let's just go over here and go to his page. So, let's check this clip out with Elon.
Openly. Yeah.
I mean, the sheer number of hoaxes that the Democratic Party is pushing over and over again. And it's like, look, I understand like politicians are gonna, exaggerate. They're gonna misspeak, and they'll tell occasional, untruths, whatever. That's how it is in politics. But when you have deliberate, concerted, repeated pushing of hoaxes, you're like, wait a second, like, come on, man, this is too far.
And you're supposed to be the good guys.
You're supposed to, and you claim to be the good guys. I'm like, exactly.
You're supposed to be the progressives.
Yes, the Dems are like, oh, we're the good guys. We're the honest people. No, hang on. You can't claim to be the good guys. You can't claim to be the honest people. If you're deliberately pushing hoaxes that have been debunked thoroughly.
Yeah. How about the other one where Kamala's campaign used what Trump was saying about protecting women and from illegal immigrants?
Thank you.
Remember that? What he was saying is, if the women like it or not, I'm gonna do it.
Yeah.
When he was saying that, they were trying to say that he was taking away women's right to choose whether women like it or not. Like, that's not what he was saying.
Absolutely.
He was literally talking about protecting them from dangerous people that are sneaking in through the border.
Yes, exactly. They'll take like not even a full sentence, like a half a sentence from Trump, and then they'll push it on every ad, every speaking event,
and it gets
media.
repeated on the news.
Yes.
This is what's crazy. They'll talk about it on these news shows, news shows.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, a recent one that came up, which had a lot of people, because a lot of people reached out to me, was like, they're like, oh, Trump says he wants to execute Liz Cheney. I'm like, that is utter bullshit.
It's not what he said at all.
It's not what he said at all. And all Trump was saying was that it's like, Liz Cheney would be much less of a warmonger, because she's a huge warmonger, just like her dad, if she actually had to go to the front lines and fight herself.
And meanwhile, they're saying that he's saying she should be shot.
Yes, which is a total lie.
And they're getting away with it. Like I said, if the media in our country would tell the truth for one day, the Democrats would no longer have the hold that they have. All right, guys, I'm going to take a break for a little while, get something to eat, and I will be back on here in just a little bit. So make sure you're following here on Rumble or YouTube, because I do go live to both now. But definitely make sure you follow us so you can get notified when we go live. If you're interested in coming on and talking with me later, let me know. I'd love to have you guys on to give your opinion on the results coming in. God bless. Y'all have an amazing day. If you haven't yet, go vote. Your voice matters more than you think, more than you know. And your vote matters. Go vote. I don't care who you're voting for. Use your voice. Go vote. Y'all have an amazing day. I will see y'all later this evening. And my wife will be on. I don't know how long she'll stay on with me, but she's going to come on and give her perspective on some of the things that are going on live as it happens. And again, if y'all guys want some tumblers, we make tumblers, we make logos, we do some other image design as well. Make sure you follow us on X, Just look in the description below. God bless. Y'all have an amazing day.